Welcome back to CHOWTIME Pods. Your host, I got a video today from Riva TV.
Right now, women are outpacing men in education, in home ownership, in income growth, and etc. So I have to ask again, why would a woman stop what she's doing, slow down, and invest in you if she gains nothing?
Riva TV.
When have women ever invested into men? Maybe there's some good women out there that do, and they usually get taken care of. But most women out there have not put any resources or any effort into men.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. So somebody actually sent me this video from the wonderful world of TikTok. I did not watch this video at all. I'm going to be watching it organically with you guys. The only thing that I see is it says, why aren't we building together anymore? Having relationships like our parents and our grandparents did. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. You know, she had my same hairstyle.
She does.
Maybe she gonna be talking with, you know, some sense, some logic. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna pause play, give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire conversation.
As far as relationships are concerned, a lot of men lament the old days. They miss the idea of what our parents did, building with your partner and growing something up together. And they are upset that women now want men to be financially stable and to have something before getting into a relationship with them. Here's my 2 cents as someone whose parents did start from nothing and grow together, and also someone who's dating in 2025.
Okay, hold on, time out. Okay, I didn't plan on pausing it so early, but she said that men are complaining that women no longer behave like how they used to in the old days, like our, you know, grandparents and mothers or whatever.
We aren't wrong, are we?
And that those same men are upset that, you know, women want men to be financially stable before getting into a relationship with them.
I don't think women were just marrying unstable men. Financially unstable men back in the day. It wasn't like that. I think most men still had to be financially stable to marry someone.
I don't agree with that. I think that the conversation about women not being how they used to back in the day, that's a true statement. There's no wrong to that at all. I completely agree that women are vastly, drastically different. You know, the women nowadays will even say it, right? They're like, we're not the women from yesteryear. You know, we not our mamas and our grandparents. But I think that men having a problem of them being the provider or a provider in a relationship, I don't agree with men having a problem with that. I don't agree. I think men are just mad that all women are coming to the conversation saying that they need the top 1% or 2% of men, when it's like,
yeah, we're okay with providing and protecting. Like, again, I don't think many of us actually are going against that. Maybe some of us want 50-50, but many of us don't mind doing those things. Do we have the ability to do those things with the money that we have? Maybe not. That's the only issue. It's always comes down to money to these women.
Like, what do you even bring to a relationship?
Building together can work, but I want to explain the difference between my father and a lot of the men out here today. Back then, there was a return on your investment. Sometimes that is still true today. You can invest in a man and something comes of it. But more times than not, when my mom and dad got together, she was working at American Express. My dad was a waiter and he was also in law school. My mom held it down and did all the heavy lifting while he was going through school because he promised her that when he graduated, she would have more than all of her friends. And what did he do? Graduated, started his own law firm, hired her as a COO, and eventually grew it to a multi-million-dollar business. At a certain point, my dad made enough to where she could retire into philanthropy, full-time, run a charity, and it didn't affect the household.
And you don't want to build with anybody? Like, they just built a wonderful life for themselves and you.
In a mansion, got her all the cars she wanted. I mean, like, she had it made. That is a clear return on investment. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you men watching are in the position to do the same for a woman today?
Okay, I want to say something.
It's hard to be a top 1% man to be able to buy your wife any car or whatever the hell she wants. It just doesn't work that way every damn time.
I get the message that she's trying to convey, right? She's saying that for the men who want to build with somebody, you know, a lot of the women who did build with somebody back in the day or in yesteryear or whenever, you know, a lot of those women actually, you know, were, you know, the men saw it through with them and they did, you know, create the businesses, they did create the companies, and the women did benefit from, you know, helping that man or starting with that man or investing in him or covering things for him, whatever the case is, right? And so now she's turning it back around and she's saying how many men are in a position to be able to do those same things for a woman today. But
Well, I mean, it's kind of a stupid thing to say because your father had your mother to help him along the way. Most of these men that you're speaking about don't have that. So I'm not saying that they can't be where they want to be, but you're comparing to someone that built together versus someone that's building by themselves.
you just said we're talking about building. So there's a lot of men who have been out there who are in the position that they are able to, if they had the opportunity, they have the assistance, they had the help from their counterpart that they're actually supposed to get, they would be in the position to be able to change,
True.
uplift, or rearrange her lifestyle at that point once they got to the position that they wanted to be in. Here's the main thing that I see the difference is.
They're not
Those
building.
women
She's just kind of waiting. She's asking if men are already in this position. So you just want a ready-made man.
Also had certain values, right? So they were naturally submissive to their husband. There was a certain order in the household.
Correct.
Even though she was helping him while he was
Like they never mention what her mother did and how her mother operated, what kind of woman her mother was to be able to get these things.
through law school, whatever, she was still going to be respectful of him. Not because she was making money does that mean that he's no longer the man of the house. Like there were, actual gender roles in place that women and men abided by, regardless of the dollar amount that they were having
Correct.
in their pockets at a certain time. And nowadays, there's not that situation. So you'll have a woman who is helping or assisting or building with somebody. Every chance she gets, she makes a man feel bad about it. She throws it in his face. She disrespects him. She minimizes him. She does all the things to the point that even if he were to get to a certain point, why would he want to be with you after you displaying or emasculating him all the way along the way?
Yep.
So I don't think it's right to have this conversation without talking about the drastic change that women have also made.
And I'm not talking about that chip on your shoulder, the economy, boomers. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying plainly, how many of you could do the same, or how many of you are trying to do the same or planning to do the same for your future wife?
You don't think many men are not planning to give their wife and their family the best life possible? Your delusion.
I think a lot of men have that. Men who want to be married. Let's talk about that. First of all, there's different types of men. You have men who don't necessarily have marriage to the forefront.
True.
Ironically, those are the men who get all types of women. Those are the men that women want to settle down with majority of the time. Is not the men who have a plan for marriage or who want to be married. They want to be with this guy because of the looks, because of maybe his status, because of what he could do, all these things. But majority of the time, the men who have the mindset from the beginning from marriage are usually already have a plan in place.
True. And they usually get married pretty early. I had a plan in place. I wanted to get married. I got married at like 21. Right? Wasn't the greatest plan. It wasn't great. Didn't turn out great or anything, but I had that plan in place. So I worked towards that plan, worked towards that goal.
Those men are usually in a certain sense like, oh yeah, I want my wife to do this. I want to have this kind of lifestyle. I want this. But again, that's not who the women are in relationships with or who want to be in a relationship with. They don't. They'll somehow talk about how this man is boring or whatever and go. They want to be with the guy who's, full of the thrill and who all the girls want.
Do you guys even aspire to be a provider? Because from what I hear, most of you are saying 50-50, and that's fine.
No. Most of us are saying 50-50 when it comes to dates, right? Even, yes, it would be nice for everything, but we know majority of the time we're going to handle most of the bills.
If you and your partner agreed to that. But let's keep it real. A lot of you guys aren't even doing that. You're not showing up as protectors or providers. You're not really contributing to the household beyond bringing in your...
See, all she sees is protector, provider is you making money. Nothing else.
Little bit of the bills. You want women to invest in you while offering no plan, no vision, no security, no nothing. Sometimes not even loyalty. We can crunch the numbers too. Right now, women are outpacing men in education, in home ownership, in income growth, and etc. So
as much as you love to say that, you guys are also pacing us in debt. And foreclosures.
I have to ask again, why would a woman stop what she's doing, slow down, and invest in you if she gains nothing? Do you have anything to offer? Ask yourself.
That's the question we always ask you ladies, and you guys never seem to be able to answer.
What does she get? Your love? And what is that if it's not backed up by leadership, care, and effort? It sounds like she just gets someone to clean up after, to cook for, to be a maid for, and more laundry. You want her to go half on the bills and be your emotional support, therapist, and maid? Why wouldn't she just live her best life and split rent with her friend? You ask why women don't want to build with you, but are you building anything on your own? Because my dad was.
Okay, let me just pause for a second. Women who are like this, who have these conversations in a condescending tone and try to diminish men and tell men how to be men and what men should do and what men should want, what men should aspire for, like women who dictate this kind of pace, the only man she might have a close relationship with for the long term is going to be that same daddy that she got. That's it. Because nobody else not going to put up with the foolishness. Nobody else going to be talked to a certain way. It don't matter if you get with your provider guy or whatever, this kind of condescending, do you men even know? Do you men even understand? Like, a lot of...
Bust a Sean Connery on her.
She would have been better off having this conversation if she was talking to women. In my personal opinion. She would have been better off having the conversation of, women, you need to look for men who are great leaders. You need to look for men who are whatever. Like, if she would have had this same conversation and tilted it and talked to women instead, it would have been a very different, it would have been in a very different space. But to have this conversation, talk about men, diminishing men, telling them what they can't do, what they don't do, what they should be doing, and comparing all these men to another man, which is your dad, is absolutely not going to land at all. Like, the conversation's not going to land. And you not knowing that lets me know that you don't know the nature of men.
She doesn't.
And so, in you not knowing the nature of men, but you're talking to men in this way, lets me know what your results might be in the future. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying,
She's a good-looking girl. Looks pretty young. Looks feminine. Obviously, attitude, they're a little different. But she can qualify. Right? She at least qualifies in looks, but then the attitude and then everything else, lady, you screw yourself.
That she's not attractive, because she definitely is, but majority of time, women that have this mindset are single for so long and they can't ever figure out what the problem is, not understanding that the problem is actually themselves. Inflation is high. Okay? If you are not making a certain amount of money, 50-50 is what is just necessary.
True.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be exactly 50-50, but a woman who is also working, who's able-bodied, who wants to work, and a man who wants to work, and the two of them coming together and creating a certain space and, making sure that their bills are paid for, they have, savings and all that with both joint incomes, makes sense to me. I always think...
That's how my family did it. Like, literally all of my family, both my uncles and aunts, my mom and dad, they all worked the business, and they worked very hard. My mom worked long hours, my dad worked long hours, us kids helped raise each other and was at the donut shop constantly. That's how they built a solid family and built solid children. I don't know how solid I am. I just said that, but my brothers and sisters are pretty good.
Figured that once you get married, it's one money anyway. That's how I've always seen it. That's how I know it to be. That's, in my opinion, the right way that it should be. Because I think that when it is divided and divisive, that's how, it's almost like a planning an out, right? It's almost like we're two separate people, two separate enemies. Don't touch my stuff. I'm not going to touch your stuff. I don't think that that's how marriages should be. That's just my personal opinion. But it's ironic that she's saying these things when I just had the conversation about Keisha, Kayor, and Gucci Mane, in which she is wealthy and he is wealthy, and she is making sure that the bills are paid. She's making sure that the savings is there. She's making sure that they're not outsourcing things, and they're using combined incomes.
Which makes sense. Why wouldn't you just combine your income to create more wealth and faster growth? When you have more money together, you're able to do more.
So how is it that wealthy women are not saying this, but here you have other women who are saying, again, with their...
Because they broke, dusty, musty, crusty
handout, you better do this, you better do that for me, or else I'm not going to ride for you, or else I'm not going to hold it down, or else I'm not going to help you or support your dreams. That's crazy.
He went to college on a full ride. He got into an elite law school, also on scholarship. He had a plan and the drive to execute it. He could make my mom promises and assurances, and she could believe it. It seems like many of you guys want women to take that risk without offering any reward. And women are just not going for it. We have community, we have love in our lives, we have great friendships, we like our jobs, we're fulfilled in our singlehood, and we have
Congratulations. Keep being single. Stop making videos about us and telling us to do stuff then.
options. Throwing away peace for potential is not something that makes any sense. And I'm not saying you have to be a multimillionaire to deserve love, but I am saying if you are requesting someone to build with you, then you need to be actually building something already. If you want a woman to believe in your vision, you have to have a vision. I say all that to say I'm not building with nobody no matter what, but I just thought I'd give my 2 cents and some insight on the situation because
As if she's some Harvard law professor that has just discovered something new and is just sharing with us men that we're not good enough.
I've seen it work. I'm not doing it, but I've seen it work. I'm not doing it though.
So she's seen her mom build with her dad, and he got the benefits of that, and she's letting it be known that she would never do that.
Pretty much.
She'd never be in that position. So the same lesson that she was trying to teach, she's also letting it be known that it would never be her.
Yep.
And that's why I say, sometimes, I hate to say it, but a lot of these women, you know, they feel like, you know, my dad was always there. My dad had this. My dad did that for me. And that's the only person that they're going to be able to rely on is that same dad. Because a man's not going to deal with your spoiled brat nature, your I deserve, your entitlement. That's not what's going to happen. That's not reality. That's not the real world. You can be as pretty as they come. Okay? But no man is going to deal with that sense of entitlement from you. He's not. Like, there's not even a humility component to it. Like, you know, I understand or this or, you know, no, I would never do that. Oh, my dad, do you guys know what my dad did? Because
And remember, it's that I think I'm better than men in every aspect of life. Like, men aren't deserving of any type of benefit of the doubt.
my dad was like this. Are you guys like that? Like, this comparison, no man's going to want to be in a relationship with you and have you comparing him to his dad, to your dad all day long. He's going to be like, then go live with your daddy.
Yeah. If you like him so much, go marry him.
You're single. You have all these options. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. Then don't. Enjoy your singledom. Enjoy your friends, your homegirls. Enjoy your parents. And I have to say this too. You know, women who want to be married, it goes without saying that you'd want to be married to somebody who has a vision. Obviously. It goes without saying that you'd want to be with a man who is a strong leader or who has leadership skills. Duh. That makes sense. You want to be with somebody who's not leading you astray. You want them to lead you in the right direction. That comes with alignment, getting to know one another, the conversations, the vetting process, the courting. All of that stuff makes sense. This is not a new phenomenon. That is just the basic, you know, level of knowledge that you need when trying to or wanting to get into a relationship. We know that. But again, to the women out there who want to be married, don't get it twisted. Don't think that the man who is, you know, the top percentage of earners is better because of what's in his pockets than the man who is still.
That's all they care about is what's in his pockets, though, right? That man is usually a worse man than most average men, to tell you the truth. As in, like, how he treats women, how much he cares about family, how much he wants to build his family. They're usually putting it back on the back burner for those types of men. Most other men want those things and work towards those things, but women don't want them.
Building something, still growing, learning, evolving, and making a certain amount of money. Don't get the two twisted. Because a lot of women believe that money equates to good man. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all.
That is literally the mindset for most modern women. Money, good. No money, bad.
Period. You need to look for the qualities of that man, the principles of that man, the standards of that man, and work out the rest at a later date. Sometimes, and also I want to say this. A lot of women will say a man doesn't have a vision just because he's in a career path that you don't want your husband to be in.
True.
Then he's not your man. Doesn't make him a bad man. Doesn't make him, a horrible guy. Doesn't make him a man without vision. The vision for his life is him being, a school teacher, a coach, or whatever the case is. And you want a man that's a CEO. That would make me believe that that's not your man. But a lot of you guys get with that kind of man and talk about he don't have no vision when that is the vision for his life. Mm-hmm. And he wants somebody that can balance that. And with that kind of salary, okay, let's stick with me. obviously he's going to need somebody that's also going to be contributing something, because inflation is high, bills is high. Makes sense to me. But don't trick yourself out of being in a good relationship with that man because you watching people on social media, you watching people getting flown out, you watching people buy the bags, and you think that you are entitled to a certain lifestyle. That don't make no sense, and you will trick yourself out of a good relationship, and you will be in the road of singledom, as she said, with you, your homegirls, and your parents.
It's funny, you know, like, again, the ugly women have a chip on their shoulders, and then the decent looking women have an even bigger chip on their shoulders because they know they're good looking. They know they're at least a 7 or 8, right? So they spew these nonsensical words that don't even really make great ideas or thought processes, because why? Society told them anything they say or do isn't wrong. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. I'll catch you guys next time.